perverts. They're great, and I love them.
Outrageous.
Sex. A bunch of sex.
You guys are bitches.
I love you.
It's okay up here.
W.A.S.P. was actually something that was a brainchild of both myself and Chris Holmes that didn't really come to pass until about almost 7 years after the fact. We had a band originally called Sister. Sister was the first band to do things like using a 5-pointed pentagram, a symbol that's now used where the people are showing the horns of the devil. Out of the Sister experience, I met a guitar player, this tall, blonde young man, 19 years old, named Chris Holmes.
He called me up and he says, well, I hear you're a guitar player. I said, yeah, I play guitar. Because he saw the ad in the magazine.
And the first thing I said to him was, how tall are you? And he said, 6'5". I said, how long is your hair? He goes, about halfway to my rear end. I said, you got any zits? He goes, no. I said, come on down. Sister broke up in 1978. We went back to the drawing board, and about 4 years went by from the time of Sister to W.A.S.P. And W.A.S.P. then incorporated this idea of psychodrama, which I've since been told is psychotic people doing drama. At the time we first started playing with Tony, Randy, Chris, and myself, we started playing at a club in Hollywood called the Troubadour.
Somebody was asking me the other day how I got the idea for the song Animal. Said I hooked up a videotape in my bedroom, rolled it back, made it rhyme.
Within the first few gigs that we had played at the Troubadour early on, we were showing signs of making progress on leaps and bounds. The show came about largely by a series of mistakes. We had an idea for a type of theater that was being developed called psychodrama, where you try to take what's happening on the stage and put it into the audience as much as possible to get the audience involved. Now, that's where the meat came from. We used to chop up the meat and throw it into the crowd, and to us, the reasoning behind that was that, yes, it was a very crude form of theater, but it was like going to a baseball game. You had to pay attention for fear you get hit with a foul ball. In other words, what we were doing is we had no money, but the object was to make it look as big as it could. The object was to make W.A.S.P. look like it had $1 million, whether it did or whether it didn't.
Tell you, I'm intense. I should have been born triplets. I got 3 times the intensity, 3 times the sex appeal, 3 times the macho any man alive. You know why the guys all come to these shows and you never see girls? Because all the guys got their girls home locked up. They don't want them to come home sitting here seeing us because they go home getting a Vaseline thinking about us. That's why they never come out here anymore.
W.A.S.P., when we did the Troubadour shows, we had those sign with W.A.S.P. signed big letters, and we had these flames that go off around it. But we had different heights that we could put this sign to different places. Well, at that time, we got it down 1 click too low. When Blackie went up to start it, with the torch, his hair was up, had all the hairspray. And when he lit it, his hair lit. And these kids up in the front, they're going, yeah, burn, Blackie, burn!
To create controversy, we staged a blood drive with the American Red Cross in Los Angeles, and they brought down a semi-tractor trailer with 12 beds and a half a dozen nurses. And I remember on the last day, I went into this truck, this mobile unit that they had, and they lined about 100 pints of blood up on the wall. And I took a photo in front of it, and it hit me at that point what we had done. But even then, that was showing stages that W.A.S.P. were the kind of band that were not content with status quo. As far as the band acquiring attention, we had been on the cover of 4 major international music magazines by then, and then that's what started the interest. At that point, major labels were starting to pay attention to us. There's a club here in Hollywood called Rainbow Bar and Grill, and I was born in the kitchen of this place. I mean, I live there whenever I'm at home, and I was walking through there, through the bar area one evening, and there was a girl there that I knew, and she was sitting with this guy named Rod, and he says, "Aren't you such and such?" Because I had been on the cover of an issue of an English magazine called Kerrang, which he was familiar with. And he says, "Yeah, I've seen you guys." And he starts going on and on and on about things that he didn't like about what we were doing. And I thought, who the hell are you? You know, I mean, I never met this guy before. So about 3 months goes by, and we were getting ready to play a show in Hollywood at the Troubadour. It was a special Halloween show. And this magazine I spoke about, Kerrang, had sent a photographer, Ross Halfman, out to do some photos of us. And Ross shows up, and he brings Rod along with him to this Halloween show. And Rod said he was coming along for a goof. You know, he didn't take us seriously or what have you. 2 days later, after we play the Halloween show, I'm walking through this Rainbow Bar and Grill again, and there's Mr. Rod Smallwood sitting there again. And he grabs me by the arm and he pulls me down in the seat, and he immediately starts in on me about what I'm doing wrong. You're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're not marketing right. I go, who the fuck are you? You know, I says, here, I'm managing this band by myself, and I'm doing this, and I'm promoting it, and I'm doing all this stuff by myself, and I have no help and no money. And I says, where are you coming off from to tell me this stuff? Now, the first time I met the guy, I hated him. And the second time I met him, I liked him even less, because now he's really come down on me hard. Well, after we talked for about an hour, it dawned on me that he had designs on what we were doing, and he saw something there. By March of 1984, we had landed the deal with Capitol, and we had commenced recording the first album. In 1984, we embarked on our first world tour, which took us to England, Europe, Japan, and then back to America. And we were gone for about 9 months the first time. We started on the UK leg of the tour, and that's where the Live at the Lyceum video came from. And that was a landmark video at that time because it shows people exactly what went on. But nevertheless, when you're doing a show like that is that visually intense, I think people are going to come out thinking they see things that never really happened, which is one of the beauties about rock and roll theater. Commencing work of the second album called Last Command. And right about that time, there was this wonderful organization that cropped up called the PMRC. That whenever you dictate to someone how to live their lives between now and 20 years ago, things should be left to the individual as to what they think they should or should not listen to. If you don't want to listen to what we're doing or you don't want to watch it, then don't buy it. The whole idea of Inside the Electric Circus is what the band's viewpoint was when we stood on the stage and looked out at the audience, because it became a three-ring circus out there. We have seen things on a stage that the average audience participant will never witness because we get the whole picture up there.
About Donington, well, and people, they got this custom over there where they like to fill plastic like containers full of piss, right? And they like to throw them at the stage and see who they can hit, man. Yeah. Well, they can't afford bathroom.
What about the sandwiches?
But anyway, no, man. Yeah, I got hit. Yeah, right. I got hit with an apple in the face or anything else. But man, because they throw the piss at us and it hits the stage and explodes and shit. So we got pissed off and we trashed the stage, you know. And we decided to throw the shit, man. I was trying to hit some kid down in the front with his Marshall cabinet, but man, I don't want to get sued, you know.
With an idea for a movie for Ghoulies 2. We went and we looked at the footage, and we decided then at that point that Scream Till You Like It would be the perfect song to showcase an idea like this. To me, it's one of the better experiences that I've had, because the people that ran these creatures made them come to life when we were doing this video. And after it was done, in all honesty, to watch these little guys be put in the box left me with a strange feeling.
I sold dynamite to the Arabs, bullets to the Jews.